We have been talking about stablecoins all year long, and listen, it's not going to change. Stablecoins are now becoming a legitimate piece of the financial system, which is also pointing us to the direction of these crypto companies like Ripple also becoming a key piece of the financial system, utilizing tools like the XRP ledger and even XRP because XRP does power the ledger itself. And this is actually very exciting to see because this is something that we've been talking about and speculating on for years. And today it's now becoming a reality. So let's actually first start off with this post here from Ripple, which says, as stablecoins become a key part of payments infrastructure, the opportunity to modernize is now. And this is actually from Jack McDonald, the SVP of stablecoins at Ripple. And this is through the Key Rock Trading and Bitso's latest report talking about how stablecoins like RLUSD are set to drive $1 trillion in payments. Now, here we actually have the full breakdown from Key Rock. And I'm not going to go over everything within this because, again, there's a lot to really kind of go over. The main thing that I actually want to talk about is the M2 supply versus the stablecoin supply. Now, they have a full breakdown here with the M2 supply, the bear case, the base case, and also the bull case for stablecoins by 2030. And if we're actually looking at this, the bear case is 2.6% of the M2 supply, or 0.75 trillion. The base case is 1.5 trillion, or 5.19% of the M2 supply. And the bull case is 10.4% of the M2 supply, or $3 trillion. We are currently at 1.1% of the global M2 supply. So this is telling us that the growth here is going to be very, very crazy for stablecoins, which means very good news for stablecoin issuers. Now, they do break down a few things here. The bear case is conservative expansion driven by slower adoption. Continued steady growth of stablecoins bridges the payment stack, expand use in B2B, P2P, and point of sale payments, which it kind of seems like this is going to be the base one, right? The base case, 5.2% or, 1.5 trillion. And then stablecoin adoption accelerates, unlocking trillions in value through faster, cheaper payments and deep integration into global financial infrastructure. And this could definitely happen. This could definitely happen, especially with how much adoption is happening around stablecoins right now. Now, I don't want to go over everything else in this because, again, there's just so much to talk about. But I wanted to bring this up because, again, the adoption and the growth of stablecoins is only going to accelerate more and more and more. One of the biggest things that I have been noticing is TradFi really accelerating the adoption of stablecoins and even tapping into the stablecoin market in a big way because they don't want to get left behind. One of the most recent ones is actually Citi. And we have here Justin. Citigroup is exploring stablecoin custody payments and crypto ETF services following the new US legislation enabling broader adoption of digital assets. And I said that this is happening while most of the world is still in disbelief that crypto is the future of finance. Because again, if you talk to somebody outside of crypto, they immediately think bad. They think FTX or they think Luna or they think meme coins and all this nonsense. Or they just think that it's made up, money. They don't think it's real. They don't understand the space. They don't even get anything outside of Bitcoin. Because typically when you bring up crypto, the first thing they say is Bitcoin. They don't even know about XRP. They don't even know about these utility-based projects, let alone stablecoins and how stablecoins are becoming a much larger piece of the financial system. Now, David Schwartz, Ripple CTO, actually put out a great post regarding what's happening here. And he said that we've been seeing more and more players in the payments and stablecoin space launch their own blockchains. To me, that's a clear sign the market sees blockchain as core financial infrastructure, something we've believed in and have been building towards on the XRP ledger for over 13 years. Launching a blockchain is hard. Building an ecosystem with developers, liquidity, trust, and real-world usage is even harder. The XRP ledger has real traction and institutional adoption because it's been battle-tested, updated, and improved upon for well over a decade. Some blockchains are built with permission validator sets controlled by one entity or a small group. This can provide control and compliance for specific closed network scenarios, but it limits reach, resilience, and the ability for anyone to contribute to securing and growing the network. Decentralization versus centralization is constantly debated, and there's not a single answer that fits every use case for crypto, and the concepts themselves have changed in definition over the years. As many of you know, the XRP ledger is public and permissionless at its core, with optional permission features for regulated use cases. This open foundation makes it adaptable, interoperable, and well-positioned to serve as critical infrastructure for the world's financial system, connecting assets, markets, and participants seamlessly across borders. The XRP ledger was built so fees stay low and predictable, just fractions of a cent without a separate gas token. You can pay directly in XRP for any issued asset, avoiding the friction and hidden cost of buying another token just to transact. XRP is counterparty free, accessible by all, and used as a bridge asset with real utility for payment, settlement, and liquidity. Every transaction on the XRP ledger uses and burns XRP. It's encouraging to see some newer chains adopt design choices that have long been part of the XRP ledger's architecture, like deterministic finality and proof of authority-based consensus mechanisms. It shows there's growing alignment in the industry on the importance of predictable, reliable settlement for financial applications without expensive validation. Looking forward to the next phase of XRP ledger innovations, bringing more programmability, compliance-grade capabilities, and deeper liquidity for institutional use. And to those just getting started, welcome to the party. The crypto tent is only getting bigger. And yeah, this is exactly why we always talk about how XRP is way bigger than what anyone really wants to admit. You know, we've been talking about it in the XRP community for years. Most of the XRP creators in the space keep saying, like, listen, XRP was always part of the plan. The reason why we say that is because for over 13 years, XRP has become one of the largest players in the space, and Ripple as a company has also become one of the most, not only successful, but one of the key players in facilitating stablecoins and payments moving on chain. And this is why we always say that Ripple and XRP will be 10 times, if not 100 times bigger than where they're at right now. And it's because adoption is not going to slow down. We're not going to see, crypto just kind of take a back seat going forward. No, we're going to see things accelerate more and more. We're going to see adoption, heat up more and more. This is just the start. Now, what's even crazier about all of this is what we're hearing from this admin. Trump recently talked about how the traditional financial system is broken and crypto will fix it. What a time to be alive. The thing is, though, is a lot of people will say, oh, Bitcoin fixes this. He's talking about Bitcoin. He's talking about Bitcoin. Listen closely to this.
Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that 2 years after?
So, yeah, listen, when we think about how crazy this is, right? They want to tap into crypto. They want to utilize crypto. They want to utilize stablecoins as well. Stablecoins are a big piece of the puzzle. And when we're thinking about that, RLUSD comes to mind. Ripple comes to mind. XRP and the XRP ledger come to mind. On top of that, we have over here, Eric Trump. Our banking system is broken. Crypto is the future. Crypto is the fastest growing industry worldwide, bar none. The Middle East, all of Asia, all of South America, they're all running towards cryptocurrency. We have a financial system that's broken. Banks operate 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Try sending a wire at 4:59 on a Friday and it won't land until Monday. The same banks take 120 days to let you borrow against your own money. And they've gone after half of Americans for wearing a mega hat. So listen closely to this.
Crypto is the fastest growing industry worldwide by far, bar none. Everybody in the world, if you look at the Middle East, if you look at all of Asia, if you look at all of South America, they're all running toward cryptocurrency. We have a financial system, Brian, that's broken. If you want to send a wire at 4:59 on a Friday afternoon, somebody's not going to get it until, midday Monday. How is our banking system, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If you want to go get a loan, you want to go buy a house, the bank that you've banked with for 25 years will take 120 days to go through a Know Your Customer report to give you your own money, right, to be able to borrow against your own. our banking system is broken. And then that same banking system has gone after 50% of the Americans because they decided to wear a hat that says Make America Great Again. We have to change the financial system. We will change the financial system. World Liberty is going to change the financial system. And honestly, I could not be more proud. And we started this company long before my father was elected, long before he won the election, certainly long before he actually got into politics again.
And yeah, I mean, listen, this is exactly why crypto is going to shake up the entire financial system. This is also why when we hear these discussions, this is exactly what Ripple has been talking about for 13 years. This is exactly why we look at XRP. This is why we look at Ripple. We look at RLUSD. We look at what Ripple has been doing. Ripple is a US-based company. All right. They tapped in with the XRP ledger years ago. You know, again, when we think about the players that are at Ripple, they created the XRP ledger. Most of them were the original architects like David Schwartz. And they created XRP and the XRP ledger with the mindset that, listen, this is going to be the future of the financial system. We are going to revolutionize the way that money moves around the world. This is why the Internet of Value was termed by Ripple years and years ago, and it's now becoming a reality because of stablecoins. When we think about the connections with Ripple and the US, it's not a coincidence. We know that Ripple has been working with the US for quite some time, even before this, admin took office. We go all the way back to April of 2024. We've shared this image many times already on the channel. It got posted by Subjective Views. This is Ripple, Stellar, and a few other players from the space sitting right next to the US Department of Treasury, Nellie Liang. And this was in a roundtable discussion on the technical and regulatory requirements for upgrading the legacy capabilities of central bank money, exploring the potential implications for consumers, investors, and businesses. They also talked about the long-term vision for the integration of CBDCs, tokenization, and stablecoins into the broader US financial ecosystem, including potential benefits for economic growth and resilience. And now we have this admin telling us, hey, guess what? The system's broken. We need to fix it. Crypto is that main thing that will fix all of these problems. And we're just supposed to, look at some of these major meetings that Ripple has been a part of. And by the way, this is not the only meeting. If we go back a couple years ago, back in even 2017, 2016, 2018, 2019, 2020, there's been so many meetings with high-level executives, even organizations, central banks, financial organizations like the IMF as well. Ripple has been meeting with these players because Ripple, in my opinion, is just not a typical company. They are one of the architects, not just for, the Internet of Value, but for the new financial system. We can clearly see the connections even now with this admin as well, right? We look at some of these major meetings and some of these major events that have happened this year. We go back to July, right? Stuart Alderati was there at the ceremony. Brad Garlinghouse didn't make it, but this was at the ceremony of the Genius Act getting signed into law. This was another big one. Again, Stuart Alderati there. Also, we know that Brad Garlinghouse was recently at this was at a crypto hearing actually regarding the market structure bill, which is also another big crucial bill for crypto to get, legal clarity. And again, this was where Brad Garlinghouse was talking about what's needed in order for crypto technology to become a huge piece of the financial system. Because again, Brad knows and he understands that we won't change the way that the banking system works. We won't change the way that money moves around the world if we don't get this key legislation in effect. We need this signed into effect. And so far, it's been a huge year for regulatory discussions and even movements happening. And a lot of these bills have already been signed into law. So the fact that we are starting to see things moving forward very fast now, we look at what this admin is saying, we go back in time, we look at all of the connections with Ripple, and there's just one thing that comes to mind. And that's the fact that Ripple, XRP, the XRP ledger, and RLUSD will become a much bigger piece of not just the US financial system, but the global financial system. Nobody is going to change my mind on that. I'm extremely confident in that thought process on, just how big Ripple and XRP will be, and even ROUSD, the entire Ripple stack from top to bottom is just incredible. It's just an incredible technology stack. And we look back on what David Schwartz is saying here, and this is exactly why when we look at XRP, it's not just your typical crypto project. There's been so much hate, there's been so much FUD spread around the space for Ripple and XRP. And I really do think that it's simply because, some people are aware of just how powerful this stack is. They are also aware of how big this will be. It could be way bigger than Bitcoin. It will be way bigger than Bitcoin, in my opinion, which is why Bitcoin maxis are just seething at the thought of XRP, getting the green light around the case, getting the green light around adoption, seeing Ripple succeed as well. It's only going to get worse for them, because I do think that Ripple, XRP, and the entire stack around Ripple as well with ROUSD, it's going to be 10 times, if not 100 times more successful and bigger than where it is right now. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.